Blocking your emotions is not self-mastery. It is ignorance. And pretending that your emotions don't exist is ineffective. I've been there. The key is in learning emotional intelligence. It's not about being edgy, but about being mature. In this video, I will show you simple things anyone can do to skyrocket their emotional maturity. First things first, many of you already know this, but you gotta remember that you're the one who controls how you feel. Outside events can provoke your hormones to spike, but your emotions are only in you. You don't control how your body reacts initially, but you control whether you let your emotions take over or not. More about that in a moment. Emotional intelligence is like a bridge between your logical brain and your emotional brain. Smart people divide it into two types, intrapersonal and interpersonal. The first is about your emotions, while the second is about the emotions of other people. What you need for emotional control is the intrapersonal emotional intelligence. In our brain, our emotions are generated in the limbic system, while our logic comes from the prefrontal cortex. The main problem with controlling yourself comes from the fact that the prefrontal cortex is one of the slowest parts of the brain. Simply speaking, when something happens, your emotions start working first, and only later your logic wakes up, when your brain is already fried. Having high intrapersonal EQ is about being able to still stay calm and use your logic, even when your brain is already being invaded by adrenaline and other things. Now that you've heard my brain-rotted lecture, it is time for the practical steps. To control yourself, you need self-awareness, and more specifically, emotional awareness. When something happens, you don't follow your emotions, nor try to block or ignore them, but rather, you start watching them. An emotionally intelligent person sees his emotions like a third-party observer. Emotional responses go off on autopilot, but consciously noticing them requires mental effort, and thus, when you start monitoring your emotions, you also start using your logic, because you start using your slow thinking. It is good to try to literally consciously name your emotions. Call them as they are, it helps. Back to my initial point. Your initial reactions, such as emotions or intrusive thoughts, are outside of your control, but whether you let them stay is in your control, because the decision is up to your logical thinking. People who get easily emotional just can't slow down enough to turn on their logic. They just let their emotions do their thing, and thus they are slaves to their emotions. But when you slow down and try to see how you feel, you gain back your free will and you decide how you behave. Anyone can learn that, even people that are very sensitive. It is just a bit harder for them. Now it's time for the hardest part. The key is to do it every day, as often as possible, consistently. This way it will become a habit, meaning this way your brain will build connections for this thing, and emotional control will become semi-automatic. Results will be visible pretty quickly, but true, permanent change may actually take years. If you won't be consistent with the method, this video will be close to useless to you. And here is something important. When emotions appear in your head, don't even judge them. No emotion in itself is good or bad, because we don't control how it initially appears. Also, context matters. Anger may make you do something bad, but can also save your life. Just let your emotions be in your head, welcome them, because when you start resenting them, guess what? You get even more of unpleasurable emotions and you get stuck in a loop. And here's something deep. Sometimes, no matter how hard you try to stay calm, life is just too overwhelming. In such moments, there is hope. It is faith. I often feel afraid, stressed, nervous, angry and disappointed, but my peace is in God. No matter how hard life gets, I know that God is with me and that He will help me get through it. And pain is good. It makes my faith stronger. When a faithful man thinks about God, he immediately feels calm. It is called trust. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Psalm 27:1. And if you want to learn something about mental toughness, I think this video is for you. It talks about the new year and about how to have a correct attitude towards it, because it won't be pleasurable. Thanks for your time. Growth is our duty. Bye.